You've done everything you can in your life so far, but you still have not made any progress. Well, I believe you. It is possible to have done everything. You've done emotional freedom techniques. You've done rebirthing. You've done hypnotherapy. You've done NLP. You've done breathing techniques. You've done everything there is to do under the sun. You've even done ayahuasca. You did DMT sessions. You did all what is possible you can do in order to get to the next level of yourself. And still you feel you're stuck. Still you feel you've not really made any progress. Even though you went to all the courses, you participate in so many workshops, more workshops that you can really count. And still, there's not the real progress that you are looking for. Yes, you've made progress. Yes, you made, I would say, some marginal changes to your life. But the real breakthrough has not yet happened. And you got frustrated. Because you sort of tried it all, but on a fundamental level, you are still there where you were so many years ago. And I can tell you why that is. Because I've been there as well. I know of many techniques that you can work on yourself with. But what I discovered, and this is a very important discovery for myself as well, is that underneath all the work of mindset, which is a large part of the personal development industry, and which has its merit, to be clear, but underneath it, there is a layer. It's a subconscious layer. It's a layer which sits in your hard drive. It's the hard drive of your nervous system. It's the emotional imprint that you got the first 5 to 7 years of your life. That emotional imprint can be feelings of love, can be feelings of abandonment, feeling of being controlled too much, a feeling of helplessness, a feeling of fear. All these feelings that you had when you were really living with your parents and a small child, again between the age of 0 to 5, those feelings were absorbed into your system. They were absorbed into your nervous system. And those emotional charges still sit there. They sit there and they wait. They wait until they bring themselves to the outside world and they start to create patterns. And as long as you don't change those patterns, you don't change that emotional load, you don't change that imprint that you got the first 7 years or the first 5 years of your life, as long as you don't change that emotional load, your life will really not be that different. Because it is on a subconscious level that you make most of your decisions. We think that our life is made in a conscious way, but most of our lives is being run 90 to 95% on subconscious patterns and subconscious motivations, so to speak. So learning those subconscious patterns, getting to know those subconscious patterns, getting to know this emotional imprint, that is really what is important to really move away from the life that you're in right now and move into a life that is a much better version of yourself. Now, if you look at how life is created or how you experience your life or how experience is created, we can look at it from different angles. I'm just going to look at it from a quantum mechanic angle. What do they say in quantum mechanics? If you want to create reality, if you want to freeze a particle, you have to observe it. And how do you observe it? That's essentially how you freeze it into reality. You turn a wave into a particle, and then it becomes visible. How do you observe something in reality? You observe it by focusing on it and by putting emotion towards it. Now, if you have this emotion, which is constantly in the background, you can call it the noise of your nervous system, the noise of your body, the noise in your energy that is constantly emitting, that is constantly working as an antenna. That constant noise, that is responsible for always creating the same kind of output, the same kind of patterns you keep repeating in your life. So if the early imprint was an imprint of abandonment, well, that noise of abandonment, that emotional imprint of abandonment that you had as a child, that will keep filtering through all of your experience in your life. And that will create, whether it is in your career, whether it is in your business relationship, or whether it is in your romantic relationships, it will recreate similar patterns. Because it's stored in your nervous system. It's the primary focus of your attention. But you've become so unaware of this load that you feel it's not there. It's very subtle feelings, it's like a little cramp, a little fear, you do something, you hope perhaps that this new partner will love you, and then you feel, well, perhaps I'm not good enough. It's a very subtle feeling. And these subtle feelings, they create the life that you're having. It's not the shouty emotional feelings that create our experience. It is the subtle feelings that beam out every day in your life. Every breath you take, those subtle feelings, those subtle emotional loads, it is those that are responsible for what's happening to you. And as long as you don't change that, as long as you don't change that load, you will get the same kind of life. And mind-setting work in itself is not enough. It's not enough to change it. Yes, for sure, you can improve your life. But you can be a millionaire, you can even be a billionaire, but still having the same little fears inside. The scale will just be different. When you're a millionaire, you will perhaps feel fearful about an amount of $100,000. And when you're a billionaire, you will make an investment which is probably 100 million. So the scale is different, but the feeling is still there. That's why just becoming more wealthy, becoming materially more settled, does not change your inner condition. Because your inner condition, if that's an inner condition of not feeling free, it will not change in whatever level of wealth you turn into or you get to. Changing that inner condition can only be done at the nervous system level. And that demands a very specific technique which cannot be done only by mindset work. But in order to change it, you first have to map it. And if you map it, then you can become aware of it and change it. And that's where the change happens fundamentally. But as long as you don't touch this layer in your beingness, this layer in your nervous system, your life will just keep on repeating with small variations, but it will be more of the same. And that's where you get your frustration from. The frustration was that you did not dig deep enough. You didn't went into the layer of the nervous system where it's all stored. And that is your constant blocker. But it's so subtle. It's such a whispering voice that you hardly notice it. It really takes awareness to become aware of those subtle feelings. But good for you is that I developed a system which I worked on for several years that can really map it. And as a business coach, I can tell you it already changed a lot of people's lives. And if you want a shortcut, if you want to do away with this frustration and finally understand why you're stuck, then definitely the core print is something you should look into.